Hello everyone, this is Amrita again. Welcome to my new lesson, Direct and Indirect Speech in Present Tense. Direct and indirect speech, we also call it narration, we can also call it reported speech, but here, to be very specific, we'll call it direct and indirect speech. Now, what is a direct speech? Direct speech means it is also called quoted speech. That means we have this quotation sign, yeah? And we have indirect speech, which is also called reported speech. Now, what is a direct speech and what is an indirect speech? Now, direct speech is when somebody says something and you are quoting that person. When you are quoting someone, that means you will write or you will use exactly the same words that the person has said. Okay? So direct speech, you cannot alter, you cannot change anything when you are quoting someone. So direct speech is, here I have this example, the boy said, comma, this is the quotation mark, yeah, I am a student. So that means the boy said something and I have written exactly the same thing. Here I means that boy, he is a student. So here the boy said that I am a student. So when you are putting someone's word, you will use this quotation mark, yeah? And that is called direct speech, when you cannot alter a single word. Now, indirect speeches, you mean the same, but you can alter that person's words little bit. Here, see, this is an indirect speech where you don't use this quotation mark. That means you can use your own words. The boy said that he was a student. The meaning remains the same, but the difference is here I have said what that boy had said, exactly the same thing, and here I have modified that sentence a little bit in my own way. Okay? But I have to keep that in mind that I won't change the meaning of the sentence. So the boy said that he was a student. Now there are specific rules to change a direct sentence or a direct speech into indirect speech. So we'll go to that part here. First of all, we will call this part, which is outside this quotation mark, yeah? This first part, we'll call this part as first part. We'll call this first part. And the latter part, which is within this quotation mark, we'll call this part as second part. Yeah? First part and second part, just to make you realize what action the first part plays and what action the second part plays. It will be a little easier for you to understand if I mention this as first part and mention this as second part. So here it goes. Things to keep in mind. First, tense of the first part. Yeah? First part means the part which is outside the quotation mark. That is first part. So tense of the first part. Next, use of that, this word, that, in indirect speech. Okay? When I'll explain this in my next example, that you will see that I have used this that in indirect speech. Next point, the tense of second part depends on the first part. Okay? The tense of the second part means the portion which is within the quotation mark, that the tense of that part depends on the first part. It will be easier for you to understand when I'll cite an example, but first I'm just mentioning the points which you have to keep in mind. Last point is use of told, not told here actually, it will be tell. Use of tell in indirect speech. We will also use told when we will do past tense, but since this is only in present tense, so we will use tell. When to use tell in indirect speech? Now, when the first part is in present tense. Okay? First part, that means the part which is outside the quotation mark. When that part is in present tense, what happens? Here I have an example. John says, comma, inverted comma or quotation mark starts, I will go Italy. Okay? So John says this is outside this quotation mark, so this is first part, yeah? And this one is second part. Now, what have I said? When the first part is in present tense, you see, John says, this is in present tense. We use s or ies or es with the doing verb when the verb is in present tense. You remember? So John says, I will go Italy. So this is first part and this is second part. Now, when I change this sentence, this is in direct speech. When I change this into indirect speech, John says that here I means that was John. John says that he will go Italy. So you see that when the first part is in present tense, the tense of the second part remains the same. This is in future tense. This is in future. Simple future tense. Will go. This is in future tense. And here it remains in future tense. It will go. So when the first part is in present tense, the tense of the second part remains the same. Only what changes we make? Since we have quoted this person, that is why here it is said, I will go Italy. That does not mean you are going to Italy. That means John is going Italy. So John says that, since I have used this word that, he will go Italy. Here he means John. John says that he will go Italy. Since I have changed little bit of the sentence, that is why I am not using this quotation mark. I am not using this. Okay? So John says, I'll go Italy. John says that he will go Italy. There is another example. My friend says to me, I am waiting for you. So this part is the first part. And this one is the second part. Now, say, so this is in present tense. And I have just said that when the first part is in present tense, the second part will remain the same. The tense of the second part will remain the same. So here, I am waiting. I am waiting. This is in present continuous tense. So when I change this sentence into indirect speech, the second part, the tense of the second part remains the same. So it will be in present continuous tense. So let's write it down. My friend. Now, when you have said to me, when something is told to someone, okay, in my previous sentence, there was just John said. There is not mentioned John has said to whom. Just it is said that John said. But here the difference is my friend is saying this thing to someone. My friend says to me. So when you have says to me, we will change it into tell. My friend tells me. when you write tells, you won't add to. Okay? You won't add to. Says to becomes tells. So my friend tells me that, here I means my friend. Now he can be a male friend or a female friend. It depends. So here let's say it's my female friend. So that she is waiting for, here you means my friend says this to me. So here you means I. So she is waiting for me. See, the meaning of the sentence remains the same, but I have changed it in my own way. My friend says to me, she is saying this to me, so my friend tells me that, always remember, in indirect speech, when you are linking the first part and the second part, we are using this. So that is the linking word, okay? That is the linking word. This is the linking word. My friend tells me that I becomes she. She is waiting for me. The tense remains the same. This is in present continuous, so this one is also in present continuous. So what is the rule? The rule is, if the first part is in present tense, okay, tell present tense. So if the first part is in present tense, the tense of the second part will not change. Okay? And another thing is that is used as linking word, between the first part and second part. So here goes the rule. If the first part is in present tense, the tense of the second part will not change. And we use that as the linking word. Okay? Linking word between the first part and the second part. And when to use tell? When, this is another one. So this one is the first rule, the main rule, and these are sub rules, you might say. So when something is said to someone, then we use tell. Okay? So I hope I've made pretty clear for you how to change a sentence from direct to indirect when the first part is in present tense. Okay? Thanks for watching. For testing your understanding of the lesson and more videos, log on to www.tubelessons.net.